5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, liftoff and the clock has started. Yes, sir, reading you loud and clear.
Hey everyone, it's Randy Coppola, U.S. Launch Report and Veteran Space Report, and I'm here at NASA. NASA has put on a host of press events for us to cover in anticipation of the CRS7 launch tomorrow. Well, tomorrow the launch is going to take off. I think it's 10:20. Is that right, Mike? And anyways, in preparation for that, there's a couple of interviews over at the NASA press site that we'll be giving you coverage of. Now, the big news about the CRS7 launch, it's carrying with it in the unpressurized Dragon capsule a universal launch adapter ring that will be mounted to the space station. Therefore, you'll be allowing the Dragon capsules, the CST-100, and any other commercial carriers who want to dock to the space station universal access to the space station. It's one of two that will be brought up there, and despite the fact that there'll be a bunch of other things that are brought up there, necessary supplies and experiments, this is what the talk is about CRS7. Till then, it's Randy Coppola, U.S. Launch Report and Veteran Space Report. Thanks for watching.
Hey, welcome to NASA's Kennedy Space Center. I'm Stephanie Shearholtz from the Office of Communications. We are here preparing for a launch Sunday morning at 10:21 a.m. Eastern Time of SpaceX's 7th commercial resupply mission to the International Space Station. It will carry more than 4,000 pounds of supplies and cargo for science investigations and reconfiguring the space station for a new era of U.S. commercial crew spacecraft. Earlier today, we heard about some of those science investigations, and tonight we'll hear about preparations for the mission itself. So joining me today are Michael Tafferdini, the International Space Station Program Manager, Hans Koenigsmann, Vice President of Mission Assurance for SpaceX, and Kathy Winters, our Launch Weather Officer for the 45th Weather Squadron.
I'll tell you a little bit about the reconfiguration. Over this last couple of months, we have done the first steps in the configuring of the International Space Station to have a commercial docking capability or autonomous docking capability if necessary. And so with that, we moved the what we call the PMM. It's basically our storage closet. It was on Node 1 Nadir, and we attached it to Node 3 forward. And with that, we cleared out the port necessary to allow berthing to occur on Node 1 Nadir. This is really the first step in the process. The next step is to add this docking adapter, the first docking adapter, which is on SpaceX7. So it'll bring up the docking adapter because we're at 3 crew during this period, which wasn't the original plan. We'll store the docking adapter on board ISS. And then when we get back up to 6 crew, we'll move the docking adapter onto Node 2 forward, which is where the shuttle traditionally docked to space station. So it'll be on the forward port in the velocity vector.
So the International Docking Adapter is actually the first implementation of our International Docking System standard. We've developed that over the past few years with all our international partners. So it's really the first standard that we have in the spaceflight business, and as such, we wanted to lead the way, and NASA established an effort to develop the International Docking Adapter. We try to put the emphasis on international because although it's in the critical path for commercial crew, this is also a key element for what we plan for other international partners to come to the space station and start utilizing it in the future.
Good afternoon, and thanks for having me here. Our team has been busy, the SpaceX team has been really busy to put the vehicle together, Part 9, first stage and second stage, and put Dragon on top of it, load it as much as possible except for the late load. In fact, we had a static fire where the vehicle's being held down, and the first stage is being fired for around about 2 seconds. We just had that as I was climbing up. T0 was at 4 o'clock. And I heard it was a very successful full duration, and that clears the next coming days up to launch on Sunday morning. Launch is at 10:21 and 12 seconds so far. Again, it's a 1 second launch window to catch the ISS in its plane and make sure that we are in the right orbit behind it, or under it rather. The launch itself will be very similar to the last couple of launches that you've seen. After all, this is, I call it CRS7, SpaceX7, it's the same thing with different perspective. It's the seventh flight. We had quite a few over the last couple of years at this point in time. Dragon has been super reliable. Source beam Falcon 9. The primary mission on this one is obviously get the Dragon and its payload up into orbit and phase it into an orbit where it can dock with the station within, I think the time is about 40 and a half hours between liftoff and docking to the station. Flight itself, again, very similar. First stage will burn for a little less than 3 minutes, 160 seconds. Exactly, max Qs at the same time, 70 seconds. Those data actually change very little from flight to flight. Second stage will burn to get the rest of the velocity, and then Dragon will be deployed about 9.5 minutes after liftoff. That's the primary mission. Top goal is to get this safely and reliably done. I do want to bring up, we do have a secondary mission, completely experimental. We will perform another landing attempt on a drone ship. Drone ship is out there at this point in time, or it's on its way to its landing point. The first stage after shutdown will flip around pretty quickly and then perform a boost back burn. It will then coast for a while and then perform an entry burn. The entry burn basically lowers the dynamic pressure during the atmospheric entry. And then at the very end, it will perform a landing burn on a single engine and hopefully gently land in barge. Drone ship.
Daryl Nail, Fox Orlando. What is it about this booster landing, Hans, that you feel more confident than the prior two?
We had two preceding landing attempts that we used to learn things. SpaceX pushes innovation, and part of that is obviously that you learn from your I don't want to say trials, but it is an experiment or a trial to some extent. And you look at the data, you evaluate this, and then you make correction, and that's ultimately how you succeed, in my opinion, and make a safe landing in the end. The fact that we had two so far gives me just confidence. We had two problems that we solved. I think the odds, it's hard to say what the odds are, if it's better than the last one or not, but there was always uncertainty until we basically solve this problem end to end. There's always going to be some uncertainty about the outcome. But yeah, and regarding the landing on land, I have to admit that I forgot what that is, the next one. But it's not driven necessarily by schedule, it's largely driven by performance. You got to have enough propellant on the first stage so you can turn the stage around and then fire all the way back to land. Obviously that requires a little bit more performance than what we do right now, and so we would need a mission that is lighter basically, or has a lower energy orbit in order to perform that. I believe it is a mission by the end of this year. In either case, we want to make sure that this is safe and reliable, and that's when we're ready, we will do this. Well, obviously it will be towed back to the harbor. It's not quite clear right now, but how long this takes. Need to be safe. Need to be make sure that pressure's out, everything is saved, tied down, and then move it back to the harbor. From the harbor, I believe the plan was to bring it back to Texas, and there will be tests with the vehicle to make sure that you can burn it again, fire it again. Basically, it depends a little bit on what we find. So the first thing obviously is a really thorough inspection of the vehicle, where we see if there's any damage to re-entry, or how well in shape it basically is after the re-entry.
given the way we enter and given the heat shield design and everything, we think it's going to be in very good shape, and we can fly it pretty quickly after that. But yeah, the vehicle is designed to fly multiple times to be reusable, and we're going to test that.
We also have to move the PMM, pressurized multi-purpose module, from its current location in order to get the clearances and approach corridors that we want for the visiting vehicles. This entails a tremendous amount of relocation. This is the largest project we've done, certainly since the end of the shuttle program. It spans 3 increments, 5 EVAs, about 800 hours of internal crew time to configure the station. So it's a very exciting project to do, and we're really setting the gateway for the future for commercial crew and other international partners to come to the space station.
We're not looking for issues. We think we may see some isolated showers in the area, but those won't be an issue, and we do expect winds to be from the southwest gusting to 20 miles per hour. The only thing that causes is a 5 to 7 foot seas, but again, none of those are constraints for landing.
Yeah, the maximum weather is really pretty high on that drone ship. You got to keep in mind, primary mission is Dragon space station supply, and that is on the side. So obviously the weather for launch is much more important than the weather for landing for us. So in terms of the upcoming launches, I'm actually working very hard on this one on Sunday. So for me, it is hard to look much beyond that. But let's see, this is 20. The numbers are out of order, but right now the numbers present when the vehicle leaves the factory, basically. After that, you're right, it's 19 or Jason 3 from Vandenberg. It's going to be exciting, much shorter commute for me. And then we have, the next one is 21, is SES9, which is a GeoBird again, which is one of our standard launch profiles by now. And then after that comes CRS or SpaceX8 or CRS8, and I believe CRS9 shortly after that. So it's going to be a whole bunch of launches later this year. We're going to be very busy, and I'm certainly looking forward to many flights over here and launches from the Cape.
The entire system has been over $100 million in terms of development, but I couldn't tell you what part of that. A much smaller part is the cost of the IDA itself.
Hi, Kyle Brown, U.S. Launch Report. This one's for Hans. Can you speak about the difficulties you encountered when installing the international docking adapter onto the Dragon capsule?
I don't think there were any. I get lots of reports. I don't recall there was no event related to the adapter. So my assumption right now is this went pretty flawless.
Awesome. Thank you.
I must say, regarding the docking adapter, I think this is actually pretty cool, because it does play right into our next Crew Dragon program. So it is something that we bring up for our own future, and so we're really motivated to bring this up. And I personally, I've been pushing external payloads a lot. Those are big pieces that build up the station. So I really think it's pretty exciting to do this. Should I just start?
Go ahead.
All right, good. I mean, you just saw the Padbot video. I'm not sure we show it again later, or is that? It's a perfect intro, actually. I did want to comment over it. What you saw is basically a couple seconds of full thrust of the Crew Dragon. Yeah, here we go. It's looking. This is the same launch pad that Falcon 9 at Slick 40 uses. Same border system. Here we go. A couple seconds full thrust, and this is really fast in a hurry. This is shut down there, and then when you see it from the outside, there's a trunk on the Dragon that keeps it a little bit further up, and it's also for cargo. Here we go. Here goes the trunk. There's a short view where you see the VAV on this video. It's really very beautiful. And then comes the 2 drogue chutes, and then the 3 mains. It looks a little bit like a lot of motion there, but it's
it just orients the capsule in the right direction and makes sure that the astronaut land in the water in the right position. So this whole system, that test happened not too long ago. It takes a while for it to come down and to land safely in the water. Crew Dragon, one of the key features is the paddleboard system. It's integrated in it. It uses its. When you look at the Dragon, there's 8 Super Dracos, as you call them, in double packs around it, and they use the same propellant as the on-orbit thruster. And the idea is basically, why not use that propellant either for your paddleboard, or when everything works well, then you have more performance in orbit. And since it is integrated, it's a great way to test it. In our opinion, it's a really safe system. And it worked perfectly on this case. We're really happy with that particular test and that particular start here. All right, going back to Crew Dragon, Falcon 9, I just want to point out that both Crew Dragon and Falcon 9 have been designed with astronauts in mind from the get-go. When we started SpaceX, I want to say 13 and a couple of years ago, manned spaceflight was always on the table. It was always something that we considered. It was always something that we based design decisions on, and it is something that obviously plays in your daily work when you ask, so is this safe for humans? Can we fly astronauts with that? That has an enormous impact on the way you design things and on the way you lay something out, on the way you build redundancy, on the way you consider fault tolerance. So both Falcon 9, and I got to point out, Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon are basically designed under the same roof, the same company, in many cases same people. I work on both systems, so there's a lot of crossover in terms of technology, in terms of experience, and in terms of and also really important lessons learned. Yeah. So. Both elements, rocket and the capsule, are designed for maximum safety, maximum reliability when it comes to the human space flight. So that's one part. The other part, of course, is since we use the Falcon 9 on several other payloads, we fly satellites with it, and obviously we're flying the Cargo Dragon right now. That gives us a lot of opportunity to actually learn Falcon 9, see where we can improve things, how we can make it safer, how we can make it more innovative, and obviously that plays into reusability at the same time. How can you make this vehicle cheaper to some extent? How can we make a Dragon more reusable? All those things work when you have the opportunity that we have at NASA. Supplying the ISS. We're really grateful for that opportunity, and it's just a unique. I'm just really happy to be here. Okay. All right. So that's about Crew Dragon and Falcon 9. The work on Crew Dragon itself is going great. After paddleboard, there's a couple other milestones that happened this year. We're working on an avionics test bed. It doesn't sound quite as exciting as the paddleboard, but it's a really important tool. That's how you test your entire vehicle. You can basically fly the vehicle on the ground. You can sit there, flip the switches, or the touch screens, or whatever you're using. You can test the algorithms. You can test everything, the batteries. Very important to get this right before you start putting it into the capsule itself and then do the next test. We work on structural model. We do work on a propulsion module test coming up here. Let's see what else. We had we're also working on the launch site. Not to forget LC-39. This is really incredible. I would not have thought that 2 years ago that we one day would just walk on the same ground where Apollo and the shuttle launch. That's incredible for us. So we're working on that path and getting it ready for the upcoming flights. There's a launch operation readiness review coming up here later this year. So there's a whole bunch of activities that are related to Crew Dragon. By the end of the year, there's a big design review, final freeze and design, with all the lessons learned that we learned along the way, whether it's paddleboard or the avionics test bed rolled up into this one test. And then a little bit the one thing I really like on the docking adapter here, it's a really perfect crossover right now. It sits in the vehicle that's right now on the pad a couple miles from here, and it's the key stepping stone for us. If you put this on the station, that is the part that Crew Dragon is designed to actually attach, and so I think it's a really really important and significant part of hardware that we bring up, and I'm also really thrilled about bringing real, not just food and clothes and things up, but also science experiments, worms. We will treat them very well, and and then bigger science experiments like cameras or whatever, and then actually this particular piece sitting on the outside in the trunk on Dragon will get extracted by the arm and put somewhere, and then from what I understand from Mike Safradini, a very complicated way of flipping notes around will happen before this is ready for us then on the first Crew Dragon demo flight. That's pretty much what I have from status Crew Dragon at this point in time.